And today, I guess I'm going to start off with Creed 3. That's the only thing I got in since the last show. This is the new film. It's directed by Michael B. Jordan, which is interesting because he's done 2 films starring as the son of Apollo Creed in this continuation of the Rocky franchise. And it's interesting that he's also producing and directing this film. And this film is built off a script. It was actually written by Ryan Coogler, and Zach Byland. So these 2 teamed up to write this film. And the plot goes as this. Still dominating the boxing world, Adonis Creed is thriving in his career and family life. With Damian, a childhood friend and former boxing prodigy, resurfaces after serving time in prison. He's eager to prove that he deserves his shot in the ring. The face-off between former friends is more than just a fight. To settle the score, Adonis must put his future on the line to battle Damian, a former fighter who has nothing to lose. And for the cast, we got Michael B. Jordan returning as Adonis Creed. We got Jonathan Majors, who plays Damian Anderson, his friend. We got Tessa Thompson. Let's skip some of these just to leave some surprises for the folks there. We've also got Wood Harris returning as Creed's, Adonis's cornerman. Also got Felicia Rashad. She comes back playing his mom. And let me see who else here is worth mentioning. We also get Jacob Duran, who plays Stitch, who's pretty much his cornerman. Stitch. That's funny, man. That's the guys that kind of sew you up during a fight. Keep you from bleeding out all over the place and try to minimize, those injuries you're getting from those punches thrown. And my impression of this, I think it's a solid film, definitely entertaining. It delivers everything that you would come to expect from the series. And I thought that, I had a good time watching it. It definitely, the story played out in an interesting way. And Jonathan Majors kills as Damian Anderson. He's a problem, man. If you're making movies with this guy in it, I think it's going to be tough to keep your production up to the level that this guy seems to be bringing to any role that he takes on. And it's interesting because the first time I saw him was The Last Black Man in San Francisco. I really liked that film, and the main reason was him. And it was a crazy thing because he's not the main star in that film. He plays a friend of the main star in that film, but he has a scene at the end of that movie that, I was like, you don't expect it because his character's kind of really understated the entire film. And then when that moment happens, it was kind of amazing. It was like a revelation. Then, to see him coming up over the years, having small roles and other things. And also, I think the biggest exposure we got of him was probably Lovecraft Country because he did, that entire run. Then getting cast as Kang the Conqueror lately. So he's got some interesting stuff. Definitely someone I'm going to check for anytime I see him doing anything.
The first film I remember seeing him in was The Five Bloods.
Yeah.
He plays Delroy Lindo's son in it. And I covered that on my Patreon pick for Talk About the Rhythm this year. I completely forgot that he was in that film. But I remember... that he did a real good, job on that film. But like I said, that's the first thing I remember seeing him in, and it's like his career's just been taking off after that.
Mm-hmm. And with that said, man, like there's a lot to enjoy about this film, but I will say this: even though I did enjoy it, just my critical eye, I did notice some flaws in the series, and honestly, what we're dealing with a Rocky film, man. So essentially, 2 guys are coming to blows to solve their problems. I think I heard Eric from Concentrated Podcast give his take, and it's like, probably could have solved this with some therapy, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for the pugilism and the action. And honestly, everyone's loving this film, and don't get me wrong, I liked it too, but I do have to put my critical eye on some things, and there are some funny moments in this, where I feel like this series, for the most part, I think is done so well because it's doing Rocky, and especially the sequels, way better than the Rocky franchise did. I really only like Rocky 1, and I like Rocky 4, just because it's kind of crazy and it's really 80s cocaine-fueled filmmaking, but it works. You got the evil Russian Empire, and it's almost like Rocky's fighting communism with his fist. Stallone fought communism on 2 fronts. I guess, like in Afghanistan and in Rambo, and then in Rocky. Yeah, so on one hand, what I think is cool here, we do get to see Creed's family dynamics and him handling the fame and, what's, comes from, being at this fighter. But it's also interesting too, because he's at the stage, he's still fighting, but he's at the point too where he's kind of getting into the financial side of things. So he's actually taking on developing fighters, taking them under his own wing, his own company, his own gym. And this is where this Damian character comes in. And I feel like the way they chose to bring him in, it definitely feels like one of the bad Rocky sequels. But we're tolerating it because Majors is good, man. And Michael B. Jordan is good too, man. He, not to be overshadowed, he's very competent. He's also a great actor. But it's like we're overlooking some of the stuff that we would have dragged the old Rocky sequels through the mud for, man. Especially there's a weird twist that the way they explain how Damian gets his chance to actually fight, because he's also just a little bit of background. I don't think it's that spoilery, but they were coming up together. Basically, Adonis was just below, a little bit younger than Damian, but they were both trying to work toward being fighters. And Damian was already doing it, but they get involved in something that happens in the streets, and Damian takes the rap for Creed. So by the time they meet back up, Damian has this resentment, feeling like Creed has the career that he should have had. And Creed is trying to help him. He's like, yo, whatever you need money, whatever, I know you got some time or whatever. And Damian is just attending. He's like, I want to fight. And Creed is like, which makes sense. He's like, dude, you haven't fought anybody. You've been in jail. I can't just give you a title shot. And so then the way they get that to happen, even though it's kind of goofy, man. I was like, man, they could have played that a little bit better. Another thing that stood out to me, I think the cast is great, but some of this dialogue and writing at some moments is a little wonky. I'm looking at a really serious moment, and in my brain, I'm chuckling, but I know I can't laugh in the theater because that would be rude considering what's going on. But I'm just like, this looks like soap opera-y bad, so it's, like I said, man, these things don't make this thing unenjoyable, but they do stand out when I look at the quality of the other films. And another thing too that I noticed, the absence of Rocky, man. I don't know, it weighs in on this. This film totally works without him, but you kind of feel the absence, man. Especially since I just rewatched Creed 2 a couple days ago, and I'm like, wow, like people say, it's cool that, we're passing the torch, but at the same time, Creed 2 ends and Rocky didn't die. He's just out there. So it's like, there's no explanation of it.
Yeah, it's like he met up with his son at the end of that film, didn't he? Or tried to have a relationship with his son.
Yeah.
And that's,
I think it was the guy from This Is Us. Okay. But then it's like, I would have loved to see some capacity. Even if you just showed me Rocky sitting in some basement somewhere watching this fight, because I guess maybe too, that is a evolution of this character, because essentially he's kind of dealing with this situation alone. So
yeah, I hadn't seen the movie yet because I had some personal problems happening this week. Like the Rocky films for what they are, but overall it was just real cool to just see him as a mentor role, and kind of, because it's from what we see in in the first two films, it's like he's not letting Adonis make the mistakes he did, because at one point Rocky was completely broke, but it's kind of like he was being more of a mentor and kind of got him in a way that he wasn't going in, or kind of keep him a little bit grounded. So
yeah, I like that because our older Rocky, he's been through it all now.
Yeah.
Him giving advice, that it hits him. That he kind of knows what he's talking about. He's not just circling around with bad intentions. But also maybe that that is a thing that works. Even though he's gone, it is kind of cool to see Adonis kind of stepping up, kind of evolving from just having that responsibility of only having to worry about what's going on in the ring. So maybe that is a cool angle, but I really did, miss Rocky's presence in this. Another thing that was kind of weird to me, even though it worked, but it still kind of took me out a bit. I thought there was a regression in the fighting action. Like they did a new technique the way they filmed this that I thought was great. but at the same time, it almost felt like I was watching a video game. And that's not to say that Rocky has always had the most realistic boxing action. I think they were more going for the impact and the thrill and the look than to try to beat than realism. But some of it was like, man, this is just too clean. Everything is just whack, 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 boom, and then like it doesn't have that roughness that a real boxing match would have. Or
one of the things I did hear is like Michael B. Jordan's an anime fan, and some of that might have his love of anime kind of influenced a lot of the action sequences in this. So I really want to see it just because that's one of the reasons why I want to see it. But I just think that was interesting.
There's a cool thing that happens when him and Adonis finally have their showdown that I did appreciate. But then, in the other fights, leading up to this showdown, I'm watching, I'm like, yo, this is wild. Like, it's almost, I mean, I'm not saying the series has been the most realistic, but it just come off a little funny at first. It takes a little bit for me to get used to it. I was like, all right, this is where we're at. Because we see that immediately in the very first, fight situation that's going on. So it's not like, so it gives you a little bit time to get used to it while it plays out. But, I mean, it's a little bit rough out around the edges, but like I said, for a piece of entertainment, man, it's still a good ticket, dude. Like at the end of this thing, I felt good. And Majors is killing it, man. Like his thing is probably kind of shallow, his character point, but man, you get this guy dirt, he gonna build you a castle.
Yeah.
Like a brick castle with that thing, with solid walls, man. You're going to need catapults and battering rams and everything to bring that thing down. Like, it's, man, like, I think we're watching, like, I don't think I've seen someone recently giving out these type of performances, man, in a long time. I can't think of anyone his age with his newness to the game that has come in so fierce as this guy's done in this, it's a short few years, man. Let me think. When did Last Black Man come out? That might have been about 5 years ago.
We were doing a podcast. It's been the last 3 or 4.
Yeah, so that was 2019. Yep, 4 years ago. And yeah, man, it's crazy, dude. So that was June. Yeah, almost 4 years. And it's just crazy, man, just to see what this guy's doing and just wondering where he's going to go now. And I'm also wondering where this franchise is going to go. It knocked Ant-Man out. I'm kind of worried about Ant-Man. Ant-Man, I don't think it's going to hit 500 million, dude. Like, they had a bad week, man. I don't know why they dropped so close to this film, man. Somebody should have, like, yo, I would have called up Creed, can y'all give us another week, man? Or if some kind of way, we got to move this up a little bit, guys.
One of the things they had those snowstorms and stuff out west. I think that might have affected some of the money on that, but that's a risk you take when you have winter type releases and stuff. But
yeah, also, I mean, that's about it, man. If anything, like the stuff that's going on with Creed himself is interesting because, like I said, I think there's some really good character development there. But the conflict on Damian's side is just a little half-baked, man. Like rewatching Creed 2, man, one of the best parts about that film was what was going on with Drago Jr. and Drago. And you see how that failing to beat Rocky, how that affected Drago's life, and you get like it, man. That was some good writing in that thing, man. Like I slept on that film, man. I did enjoy it when I first saw it, but rewatching it, it's like, yo,
Creed 2's good.
It's good, man.
Yeah, it's real good. A lot of it's not as good as the first one, but that is still a solid film.
Yeah, but I'm just hoping it doesn't signal a super downgrade because the Rocky films, man, they just got a little goofy toward the end, man. Like even like just the interpersonal stuff, it just it was what it was.
Yeah, but like with Rocky though, at a certain point he's just broke. He doesn't have. Yeah, he's completely broke, and then this the Creed films kind of redeemed him in a way, or just. Kind of see where he's at a bit of a comeback, and then he can look out for somebody. Like I said, being a good mentor to Adonis.
Yeah,
but like,
Creed ain't going broke, man.
Yeah, I know, but it's just
But now I'm getting a little worried now because now we are hitting that weird phase. It's like, what else is there to tell with this guy? what other stories are we going to get to before we start just getting goofy and like getting ridiculous? I don't know. We'll see, man. Hopefully they can keep the magic going, because I doubt this is the last we see of Adonis Creed, man. I think we'll probably end up with Creed maybe going out, being an older fighter, and getting that film before it's all said and done.
I kind of wonder if we'll have like Creed and what was Dolph Lundgren's character's name?
Drago Jr.
Yeah, Drago Jr. Yeah, it'll be nice to like have like a Creed and Drago Jr. like movie to where they're doing like the Rocky 2 thing, you know, where he's helping Drago Jr. to, you know, train or whatever, kind of like how Apollo and Rocky were. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, go see the movie.